Today's meeting provides an excellent opportunity to update you on the stellar progress being made by your company in exploring the very exciting Cape Ray Gold Project in Canada, as well as hear about our recently pegged Hermitage tenements. I have been very fortunate to visit the site several times in recent months, and I'm very positive about what is taking shape over there and the quality of the team that is making it happen. Well, before I discuss this, it's worth noting that the gold price has had a volatile 12 months, topping in January at US $1,950 an ounce, only to decline 2 months later to US $1,685 an ounce, and overall trending lower over the last year and was sitting 6% below the prevailing price from last year's AGM, prior to the nice correction that we've all seen this week. This headwind has also hit the gold stocks, and in particular, juniors, with the Gold Junior Miners Index, the JDXJ, down almost 8% over that 12-month period. Your company, Matador, has, however, held firm against the sector-wide trend. Owing to the good work carried out by our team during the past 12 months, Matador's shares are currently trading up 7% compared to where they were 12 months ago. This is good performance relative to the GDXJ, which is down. This relative outperformance sets us up well to lead the sector when the gold price resumes its uptrend, which hopefully we've seen the start of this week, which I believe is ever more likely given the growing evidence of inflation globally, and again, announced earlier this week with 6% year-on-year inflation from the US. With a strong and dedicated on-the-ground team, a robust balance sheet, an exceptional pipeline of prospects and targets, we are well positioned to capitalize on the vast opportunity in front of us over the coming 12 months. Regarding our team, we have added some serious firepower in the last year, with particular emphasis on strengthening our Newfoundland-based team. Crispin Pike has come in as principal geologist and country manager, having worked for the Geological Survey of Newfoundland and Labrador for 6 years, and prior to that, 9 years with Inco Vale in projects across North and South America. Crispin is a St. John's local, knows the key players on the island, and is a key employee of ours in the region. Giles Dodds also joined us as senior geologist, also bringing further Newfoundland experience with his 10 years experience, both in Australia and North America. Greg Sopper has come in as Health, Safety, Environment and Community Superintendent with a great 30 years experience in occupational health, safety and environmental management in heavy industrial construction, mining, minerals exploration and military sectors. In addition, Kerry Sparks has joined us as technical advisor to the board, previously working as VP Geology for Franco-Nevada, a royalty streaming company with a market cap of $27 billion US. Kerry is a highly respected geologist and is also based in St. John's in Newfoundland. Kerry actually worked on the Cape Ray Gold Project in early 2000s and adds valuable insight to our exploration team. COVID-19 travel restrictions have beset explorers worldwide over the last 12 months, and we have endeavored to work around these. Excuse me. Fortunately, I've received an exemption to leave Australia and was also granted a Canadian visa to enter Canada. When this allowed me to finally visit the project, I was deeply impressed by the breadth and commitment of the team on the ground and the excitement of what they were systematically discovering and their can-do attitude. This included the adaptation of the Winky drill, which is a conventional auger rig mounted on the back of a Caterpillar tracked all-terrain vehicle. This simple combination allows the team to effectively and efficiently and cost-effectively access new drill sites, drill through 8 to 10 meters of glacial till cover to sample the bedrock. It also included running 16,000 line kilometers of heli-mag survey at 30 meter spaced lines, 25 meters above the ground, which provided us with the highest resolution magnetic data that has had immediately identified 3 exciting and large targets for us to assess. This HeliMag is the highest resolution HeliMag ever done on the island, ever. The team also arranged an independent mobile sample preparation unit to be installed on site, more than halving the assay turnaround time and accelerating exploration decision-making. These creative solutions have put the company in good shape to advance the project rapidly and intelligently. All of this work allows us to feed the pipeline of projects through strategic filters and to the 2 diamond rigs, which are part way through the 45,000 meter drill program, to which we are fully committed. Also in good shape is Matador's balance sheet, with $17 million in cash at the end of September 2021. This was bolstered through the $16 million placement we conducted in June 2021, which brought 2 significant North American institutions, CI Financial and Franklin Templeton, onto our register. This strong position has allowed us to undertake the largest exploration program ever carried out at the Cape Ray Gold Project and to continue to build on the pipeline of projects. And this pipeline is in the best shape it has ever been in. We are particularly excited by the potential at Windowglass Hill Granite and Isle of Mort, both of which have generated some outstanding results, as well as some of our regional targets such as Benton Malachite Lake and Stag Hill. We continue to have positive engagement with local communities and government officials in Newfoundland who have shown significant support for the Cape Ray Gold Project, with the expectation that it will be a material source of employment and opportunity in the future. Likewise, our meetings with the First Nations communities regarding the project have been positive and constructive. Matador's environmental baseline studies are now nearing completion. These studies will form the basis for the environmental impact statement, which is on track for completion and submission to both the federal and the provincial regulators in the second half of 2022. In summary, the board and I are extremely pleased about the commitment and progress made by the team over the past 12 months and are increasingly convinced that there is significant scope to increase Matador's existing 837,000 ounce resource base through systematic exploration across our vast 120 kilometer strike length of tenements held on the Cape Ray Shear. The board and I thank you for your patience and support as we execute our strategy and strive to deliver meaningful value creation for shareholders. Thank you very much. I'll run through our presentation just so that you have an update of what's been going on in the last few months. Take that as read. So introductions of market cap, it's slightly higher from when we did this, so probably 85 million market cap at the moment. Most important, or as important, is cash in the bank. We fully funded from the raising we did back in June. Still got $17 million at the end of the September quarter, which means we fully funded for the remainder of this season, plus the potential winter program that we plan to do, weather permitting, plus the program that we'll kick off with next season as well. We are pleased, as I mentioned in the introduction, to have Franklin and CI Financial as cornerstone or shareholders on the register at 5% and 7%. And we continue to work with the Australian institutions together with the Australian retail investors. We all know how exciting Newfoundland is with exploration that's currently going on there, one of the hottest properties in Canada at the moment. And the beauty of the areas is access to low cost of power together with provincial government that is very, very supportive of exploration, mine development, and eventually gold mine production. Even though we own 120 strike kilometers of tenement, we've only really explored within 15 strike kilometers, and that's where our current resource of 837,000 ounces is located. We see great potential to expand along the 120 strike kilometers and see how many more deposits we can discover there. You've seen this slide before with the directors who I've introduced in this call together with the management team. I did mention in my introduction Crispin Pike, who's our principal geologist and country manager, and Kerry Sparks, both of them St. John's locals, born and bred on the island, and very passionate about making sure that there's exploration success on the island and job and wealth creation for all stakeholders. This is a map of Newfoundland. Our tenements are the area in red. Just sharing the other colors. So in yellow were the tenements that were pegged prior to 2019. Since 2019, the light green colors reflect all the tenements that are currently pegged there today. So you can see how in a matter of 2 years, Newfoundland's gone from relatively low tenement holding and low exploration to this boom period where there's forecast to be over 400,000 meters of drilling to be planned in 2021. And more recently, Newfound Gold have doubled their drilling from 100,000 meters to 200,000 meters on the island. So effectively, the switch has gone from off to fully on in a matter of 2 years. Newfound Gold, their market cap has retraced a bit. They're still 1.2 billion market cap. And that's been on the back of geological issues where the grade, which I've announced previously on QA/QC, was shown to be not as high. So they've been set back a bit there. Flip side is Marathon Gold has increased in market cap. They had a bit of a setback 2 weeks ago when they announced the environmental challenges in terms of the EA, but their share price has bounced back and now they're 770 million market cap. In addition to those two who lead the way on the island, you've got Maritime, Labrador, Soccerman, and there are about 75 TSX listed companies operating on the island. We are the only ASX company on the island. Of the 75, only 4 have got mineral resources, and we are one of those 4 with the 837,000 ounces. So there are a lot of companies on the island. Some of them aren't doing much. We certainly, with our funding and the exploration activity that's currently going on, we are very active, and I've seen it for myself in the last few months. Zooming into our tenements, so in red is the 120 strike kilometers. The 4 dots on the left are where the current resources are. So if you zoom, and hopefully you can see my cursor, the resources stretch over 15 kilometers strike length, but that's within the 120 strike kilometers, which has not been explored at all. Within it, we've got the largest resource is Central Zone, 500,000 ounces. Window Glass Hill, just to the southwest of that, 250,000 ounces. But as I'll show you, more recently, we've identified that the Window Glass Hill resource sits on top of the Window Glass Hill granite, and that structure has a 3 kilometer strike length, and we've pretty much only explored 1/3 of it. So we see more potential to continue to drill around the Window Glass Hill resource and keep growing that resource. We've then got a gap between Window Glass Hill down to Big Pond, and that area is where we have had a closer look with the aeromag, and we've identified structures which we followed up with auger drilling, and we've got 6 targets identified that area that we've done an initial small-scale diamond program just to see what's there. North of Central, between Central up to Isle of Mort, that's a 7.5 kilometer gap, which we've now called Stag Hill, and we've had the auger rigs going in there doing first pass testing as well. So even though people think that where the current resources are, it is well explored, based on the aeromag that we've flown, we've identified additional targets within the small area that need further follow-up, together with more greenfields targets away from where these resources are. As mentioned, I've been across to the project a few times in the last few months. This is a photograph of the port of Isle of Mort. In this town, we've got our office and our core shed and accommodation for some of the geological team. It's a major port in that the ferry from Nova Scotia on the mainland comes in here twice a day. So when we come to build the project, we can bring equipment in via ship to this deep water port. And from this port to our camp is about 30 kilometers. So by comparison, those of you, most shareholders know that Justin and I come from a company called Gold Road Resources. We built with Goldfields the Gruyere project. The distance from Perth to where that project is 1,200 kilometers. The distance from this port to the Cape Ray Gold project is 30 kilometers. So from an infrastructure perspective, a lot easier to get all the mine equipment up for when we do build this mine. In addition, there's a hydropower which comes into Newfoundland Island close to this town, and we can tap into that power grid, and we would have to run electricity cables about 30 kilometers to get to the exploration, to get to the project site. And that is tapping into renewable hydropower. So we all know that ESG is very important. Here we are tapping straight into renewable hydropower from when we start building the project. We are busy with our environmental impact statement. All the baseline study work was completed in October. We've identified 12 what's called VCs, value components, which are the key risk areas when we develop a project. Each of those has a separate chapter written for that EIS document, and those are currently being written at the moment. And we'll be on track to submit that in August of next year. Zooming in on where our activities are currently going on in the project, the image at the bottom is 120 strike kilometers, and the colored blocks are the 33 targets that Warren and the exploration team identified last year. Since then, we've flown Aeromag and we've identified a whole lot of new targets. The image above that, and just to highlight how little drilling has gone on in this belt, one black dot represents one historical diamond drill hole. So around the central zone, where we've got 500,000 ounces, and that's in indicated category, you can see there's a lot of black dots. So a lot of drilling's gone on there. You go south of that to Window Glass Hill, where we've got 250,000 ounces, and there's a lot of black dots. You go from there down to Big Pond, and we've got a 6-kilometer gap where there's only been a handful of diamond drill holes. If you go north from Central Zone, and I mentioned earlier the area called Stag Hill, that's this gap that has only had 1 or 2 diamond holes historically before we get to Isle of Mort, where we've got another resource. And once you go from Isle of Mort further to the north, the number of drill holes disappears again. So that is why we get so excited about this area, is that it's highly prospective. It's a shear zone where to the north of us, Marathon have got 4.8 million ounces. We've got 837,000 ounces, and pretty much between those two resource areas, there's no exploration that's been done. So we raised the $16 million in June. We've now kicked off the 45,000 meter program, which we are well on the way through. We'll break in the next few weeks when winter kicks in here. We then plan to kick off the winter program probably in February, which will run for 6 to 8 weeks if the weather gets cold enough for us to do a winter program. And then in April, May, we'll then start the 2022 season. We've got the money, we've got the drill rigs, we've got the very good exploration team, and we'll carry on doing the systematic work across this belt. What was a real game changer for us at the beginning of this year is when we flew the HeliMag survey. So we flew this 30-meter spaced lines, 25 meters above the ground. We've done phase 1, which is the area in the map, 40-kilometer strike length. We will then do phase 2 early next year. So we've got the money. We've flown the Aeromag this year. We know what's needed to be done. We'll fly that area, and that could identify a whole lot of new targets for us that we can test in 2022. But from the phase 1 drilling, we've already identified 4 key target areas. Target area 1 is where the existing resources are. I mentioned the gap between Window Glass Hill down to Big Pond, which shows good structures, and auger drilling to see if there's any gold in the system, and then systematic diamond drilling to see what we can see at depth, and we're waiting for those assays to come in. Across the central zone, and this has been quite interesting from the geological team, is there are the gaps between the resource pits, but now that we've got the Aeromag, we can see where the historical drilling was done, and in some places the historical drilling went off in a direction which is different to what the structures are showing that the system runs off in. So that's given us targets to test in the winter program, close to where our existing camp is, and obviously close to where the existing resources are. I mentioned a fourth target, and that's the one I mentioned, Stag Hill, between Central Zone and up to Isle of Mort. Benton is an area where we've got very elevated rock chips in boulders from historical work done. We've gone back in, done further testing of our own testing of the boulders. We've also done a few diamond holes just to see what's at depth. The key thing there is the boulders have been transported. They weren't there originally. We've got a glacial geologist as part of our team. He's doing the modeling to see where these boulders originated from, and that's obviously the source of where the gold is that's in those boulders. Malachite Lake is very interesting for us because that's an area that's 12 kilometers long, 4 kilometers across. And when we look at the historical work done in this area, there's been hardly any historical work done. When you look at the mags, you can see the Cape Ray shear clearly shown in this image. And it's on a bend. And the one thing I picked up over the years is geologists get very excited where you have a bend, and they get more excited where they're clearly visible cross-cutting structures coming off that bend. So here you've got a nice shear zone that bends around, clear cross-cutting structures. So the secondary and tertiary structures are clear, but no historical work having gone in this area. We are busy with the big soil program in this area, and that'll allow us to do the first pass testing, get those assays back over winter, and then plan a follow-up drilling program for the summer season next year. We spoke about the auger rig, which again, has never been done in Newfoundland before. The bottom left is the original auger rig that was built over winter, and we then tested it when spring happened in Newfoundland. And this allows us to drill through the transported material. Compared to the previous explorers on this belt, firstly, the previous explorers only explored where it outcropped, and secondly, for them, success was only where they hit gold in the at depth, and which was showing up in the assay results. By comparison, what we're doing now with the auger rig is we can drill a grid pattern, 200 meter spaced lines, 50 meter spaced holes on those lines, drill through the transported material, take a sample through the transported till, as well as changing the bit and getting a diamond sample about 20 centimeters long from the top of the fresh rock. We send all those away for multi-elements, and we've identified which are the pathfinder elements for the gold along the Cape Ray shear, and they're shown in this table. So up to 200 meters away from where gold is found, up to 100 meters away from where gold has historically been found, we do find zinc, arsenic, molybdenum, copper, tungsten, lead. So we assay for the multi-elements. We see if we find these pathfinder elements. If you find the pathfinder elements, it means that there could be a gold system close to it. If you have the pathfinder elements plus gold, well, then the geos get really excited with that. So this approach has never happened before on the Cape Ray shear. We've brought it in, and we've done the HeliMag. Two tools which the previous explorers have not used. So we've used those tools, and we've identified, this is an image on the left is the Window Glass Hill resource, which is in blue, outlined in blue. And the gray dotted line is the outline, which we now know from the mag, of the Window Glass Hill granite structure that the Window Glass Hill resource is sitting on. You can see that where we have the resource is probably 1/3 of the area of the Window Glass Hill granite. We've got the rest of the granite to test. About 2 months ago, we did drill a line of fences across the granite margin where the granite meets the sediment, and that's the image on the right. We did 2 fences of 4 holes each, and we've got grade and width in every one of those holes. So if you look at hole CRD214, 19 meters at 4 grams, 6 meters at 1 gram, go further down, 2 meters at 1.6, 4 meters at 1.9. So very good grade and width on this contact between the granite and the sediment. As the structure itself is 3 kilometers long, the margin, the boundary is 6 kilometers of targets that hasn't been tested before. We've got 13 diamond holes that we're waiting for the assays to come back on. And this is certainly the low-hanging fruit for us, is how we can expand the Window Glass Hill resource and add that into the mining inventory that we have for the Cape Ray Shear, together with what we have at Central. So in terms of current activities on the belt, I mentioned at Big Pond, we had the auger drilling that identified 6 targets, and we did an initial diamond program there just to see what's there. We've got the drilling at Window Glass Hill Granite. So that's infill drilling at Window Glass Hill, testing the margin between where the granite meets the sediment, together with doing further exploration to the southwest of the current resources, but still within the Window Glass Hill granite structure. We've then got the Stag Hill area, where we are currently testing that 7 kilometer, or we've just completed testing that 7 kilometer gap, waiting for results. There's the area of Benton, north of Isle of Mort, that we did some initial testing as well, just waiting for those results. And then we're just wrapping up. It's getting pretty cold over there, but the field crews are busy doing wrapping up the final work on their the soil till program up at Malachite Lake. So the camp is very busy. The camp is full. 2 diamond rigs, 2 power augers, 3 handheld power augers, and plus then all the soil till test work, which is ongoing. In addition to what we have at Cape Ray, earlier this year, we also pegged new tenement, which it was Crown land, nobody else was there, and that's the Hermitage area. What attracted the attention of this area for our geologists is that we know what the pathfinder elements are along the Cape Ray Shear. Crispin, credit to Crispin, he knew of this area, and that Tech, Falconbridge, and Inco had done some work here about 20 years ago looking for big base metal systems. They didn't find the footprints for big base metal systems, but what they did find correlate with our pathfinder elements for gold on the Cape Ray Shear. In addition to that, there's a very large tantalum anomaly in this area. Up where Newfound Gold have got their gold exploration project, there is an antimony mine. So there's gold associated with antimony up on the Newfound Gold area. There's all the pathfinder elements across Hermitage, as well as antimony anomaly there as well. We haven't got on the ground there yet. We aim to get in there early next year. The cover is thicker than what we have along the Cape Ray Shear, around 20 meters thick. And we're busy trying to source a lightweight rig that we can helicopter in and do the first pass testing on Hermitage. So at the end of this year, we would have progressed with the studies and permitting. I mentioned the environmental assessment, environmental impact study documentation. We finished the baseline studies in October. We're now writing up all the chapters. They'll be reviewed, compiled. Fortunately for us, Marathon is ahead of us in that process, and we're seeing what responses they're getting from the federal and provincial governments, and that's helping us modify our environmental study work to ensure that we cover everything that they've been picked up that where they may have been light on. We are also doing further work in preparation of getting to the point where the board presses a button on the pre-feasibility study, and that includes met test work, geotech drilling, groundwater, tailing storage facilities, etc. We've got the brownfields drilling, which we're busy with the diamond rigs, mainly focused at the moment around Window Glass Hill. We do aim in the winter program to get to Isle of Mort and carry on. At the end of last season, we had very good drill results coming in from Isle of Mort. We want to carry on that drilling, but with the winter road, it'll be easier access for us into that area. The mobile sample preparation unit certainly has improved our assay turnaround time as well, and allowing faster decision-making for exploration. On the greenfields front, which is the most exciting for me, the Aeromag has highlighted a number of great targets for us to test. We'll have the phase 2 Aeromag flown next year. That'll highlight even more targets for us to test. The power augers are working well. We started the season with 1. We now have 2 power augers that they're both cost effective and efficient in testing through the transported material. And then we have the diamond rigs testing the best of these targets that come through from the greenfields testing. We did list this year on the OTC market in the US, and we have had good volumes, around 20% of the ASX volume trading on the OTC market. And we have also kicked off the first steps of our ESG reporting. We are a junior exploration company, but we've decided to kick off our ESG reporting. I won't talk to this page. This is a comparison to our peers where we are undervalued compared to them. At the end of the day, we're an exploration play. We aim to find more gold, more economic gold on that belt by doing the systematic work. I don't expect to be an 837,000 ounce company for long. That's the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for your time. We will just call the meeting to an end, and if there are any questions, obviously there's management in the room, and we have Justin Osborne, non-executive director, there as well. Thank you, everybody.
One question.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure. Ian, there's one question.
Yep.
From, John Jubanchik. You just want to know why we're not using RC rigs.
Yeah, RC rigs are very, very rare in Canada. We're actually trying to source one. We were trying to source one for the winter program, because they are lighter to get around, but they're very rare in Canada. We're trying to source one for the Hermitage area. You can get diamond rigs. The Canadians do diamond drilling for everything. In Australia, you've got plenty of RC rigs and air core rigs. They're not really common over there, unfortunately. We will find one, but it's just taking a bit more time to get one. I'll also point out with that question that the diamond drilling cost per meter in Canada is much cheaper than diamond drilling in Australia, and it's marginally more than RC drilling in Australia. So even though it's diamond drilling, it's not expensive. It's not as expensive as diamond drilling in Canada, in Australia.
No, there's no further questions.
All right, thank you, everybody. Have a good Friday. And I hope to see you soon when I get allowed back into the country.
Thanks, Ian.
Cheers.